Hey, I'm Milo. Thanks for checking out Milo Week here on EQ Music.
Welcome again to EQ Music. We are very excited to chat with you today. We actually discovered you as part of South by Southwest last year, which unfortunately got canceled at the last minute. I cried. I was in Austin. And it was all canceled. So ended up spending a week and a half in a hotel room instead of going to see Myylo. I know. Sad boy tears.
Yeah.
We were a little bit familiar with you because I think you released Cyborg at that point, but so we knew a little bit about you. But since all that happened and we've gone into lockdown, how's lockdown been for you?
It's definitely been an emotional whirlwind. I had moved in with some people that I didn't know at the beginning of quarantine, and like things were great with them, but we just decided to move out. So that moving was weird. I stopped being creative for months, and then somehow in the past couple months I've started to feel really, really intensely in need of writing again. So that's been good.
Well, that's good. You're very busy with all the Valentine's songs coming up.
Yes, I started a small business just doing custom gift songs for my fans mostly, but it's kind of moved outside of that realm and started to expand the audience. So I'm very, very busy with that. We built a set in my house, and it's been going well.
Excellent. How did you actually get started in singing and writing songs? I'm just kind of curious about the backstory, really, and how Myylo came to be. I got a bit of a flavor for your music with the music video for Finger. You know, I had a preconceived notion that you were kind of a country artist after seeing that video.
That would be
yeah. How did it evolve into, you're very much, anthematic pop. How did all that evolve, and how did you start on your journey?
Well, my parents had me into music as a kid, and luckily I benefited from some really great public music education, which is pretty surprising for the States. But I enjoyed that. And then in high school, I think I was just watching YouTube videos of people like AJ Raphael and Tori Kelly and all that stuff. And so I started to pick up the ukulele and started to learn how to sing. I just started writing songs when my older brother started having girlfriends over, and I was like, I want to have a boyfriend. This is so sad. So I kind of started writing about that kind of stuff. Was writing through college and kind of realized halfway through college, where I was a literature major, that I really wanted to write songs. So I graduated when I was 20, and then I moved back to Los Angeles, where I'm from originally. Started writing songs. I was working at Jim Henson Studios, just writing for whoever I could, every independent artist that I knew, just trying to get better at my craft. Because, when you start out at something, you're not good. Songwriting is a skill like any other thing. Anyone can develop that skill. So did that for a year and a half. I decided that I wanted to experience more than LA had to offer me, just being from here, which is kind of funny to think about. But I was I want to go live somewhere where I've never lived. So I moved to Nashville. I kind of had fallen in love with Casey Musgraves, and I had taken a quick visit there and loved the community. So I lived in Nashville for 3 years doing country music, writing just in that scene, which is kind of how, I wrote Finger actually while I was in LA before moving to Nashville, and that kind of inspired me to move to Nashville. So I was doing that for a while, and then in Nashville, I had this really weird kind of set of meetings. I had one meeting with a publisher who was you should move to LA. And I had another meeting with a publisher who was you should think about toning down being gay in your music, because if you want to do country music, you can't do that. And I was wow, what a weird thing to say. What a weird thing for someone who's in the music business, who's trying to represent artists. What a weird thing for them to ask of somebody. So I kind of had a few weird experiences like that made me, I don't know, a little bit more disinterested in that genre, that side of the business. And
that's interesting that you say that, because that was a whole slant of my questions that I prepared was did you have any fears about being an openly gay artist, and were you always out and proud, from the beginning? We've kind of made I think in the music industry, it's made some strides, especially over the past 5 years. But it's never easy for gay male pop stars. So yeah, how have you found? You're starting to talk about that already, but how did you find that experience?
I think within the industry, it's mostly been fine as like far as being a writer or an artist. But in the sort of country side of things, I think things are weird. For me, I had this one meeting with his name's Gabriel Saporta. I can't remember the band he was in, but he gave me this great tidbit of advice, which was like chase the fans, don't chase the industry. So the more and more that I focus on thinking about, my job is to find people who like my music. My job is not to find a manager or like the right publisher or the right label. Like those things come, those people who work in those places come to you when you have value. So at least on the business side of things, I'm like, right now my job is to find people who like what I do. And thanks to the internet, like there are people who like what everyone does. So I'm really just focused on getting my music to people who want to hear what I have to say. And that's like been really gratifying and actually like weirdly grounding. So I kind of don't even, right now, I don't think about those things anymore. What someone who is a music business professional.
I'd say, out of a lot of advice that people could give, that's some really sound advice. And I think that sort of reflects on how engaged you are with your fans. And you've got some really dedicated fans on the internet.
Yeah. And I love it. It's really fun to talk to people on the internet, so I'm about it.
Who are some of your music influences? You mentioned Casey Musgraves earlier. Yeah. I'm kind of curious.
It's like a pretty wide set of people, but I grew up listening to like Jason Mraz and Sarah Bareilles and Ingrid Michaelson, and I remember being young and like those were kind of the first non-pop radio people I was listening to, and I was like 11 or 12. I mean, some of them obviously had major pop radio hits, but I was like, oh wow, I feel so cool. I feel so indie listening to Jason Mraz, which is hilarious. But I started listening to those people, and that inspired a lot of my very, very, very early songwriting. Like, I think there might even still be like a really old EP on SoundCloud that you could listen to and be like, oh yeah, I hear that. And then I really fell in love with people like Beyonce and Jasmine Sullivan, just like excellent singers, but also excellent writers. Once I was after college, I was really, really into Casey Musgraves and Shane McAnally, who's a writer in Nashville, who writes with Casey Musgraves, but also writes with a bunch of other people like Sam Hunt. He's gay, and that was also gave me the courage actually to move to Nashville. Him being openly gay, and who else? I mean, everyone. Right now, I'm just really inspired by my friends. Like Jensen McRae is so insane. Like one of the best songwriters I've ever heard. Joy Aladakun, I think, is so incredible. Chaz Cardigan, that kid who I do a bit of work with, I think is really amazing. So right now, it's mostly my friends who are inspiring me.
Cool. How did the duet with Jordy come about?
Our friend Rachel, who's a publisher in Nashville, who is also Joy Aladakун's girlfriend, Rachel set us up. I think she introduced us, and then we met for like Thai dinner. We saw like one of his friends perform at this like place called Republic of Pi in Los Angeles. We got dinner, and then we just set up a date to write. And I was thinking that I would want to do my next project as sort of a duets project with like have 5 songs as a duets project, which I ended up not actually wanting to do, but I was talking about that with Jordy, and we kind of wrote from that place of wanting to write a duet. And then Jordy and I have both had like some of our best friends have had really, really unfortunate coming out experiences. They both have like super religious parents, and we just wanted to write a song for those friends and those people to remind them that like their chosen family can be their family when they need them.
No, that's very cool. Very cool story. Thank you for sharing that. I heard Finger before. I heard Cyborg. I think we actually covered it on EQ. My sort of Myylo moment, I'll never forget this, was, I was bummed that I didn't get to see anyone at South by Southwest, including yourself. But I was on the train, and I was listening to the EP that had I Saw a Boy at a Party.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then there was a Biz Marquee moment in there, and I was like, "Whoa, where did this kid pull Biz Marquee out?" So I'm like, "There's something there." And then the lyrics are really cool, and they're very honest and upfront, but still very pop. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little story about how you made "I Saw a Boy at a Party."
Yes, I was in a session with my friend Alan Salmon, who has the best last name of all time. But I met him in Nashville, but he was in LA for a writing trip in this like gorgeous little house somewhere in the hills. And I think I had gone over there to record saxophone for him, actually for one of his songs. I play alto saxophone, and he hired me to do that. And he was like, "Well, why don't you record that and then we'll write a song?" And we did that. I don't think I've ever been more bone tired in my life. But I was like, okay, let's just crank out this song. And I had this like piano progression. It kind of sounds, I can't remember the name of the song, but it sounds like another song. And I think I had brought it into like 10,000 sessions over the course of the year, but he just like made it really, really nice and sparkly. And I was just thinking about crushing on dudes, and it kind of just came out. Most of my writing is sort of stream of consciousness. I'd say half of it's pretty intentional, half of it's stream of consciousness, and this happened to just be like a really stream of consciousness song that fell out of me. The Biz Marquee reference is I love a reference. Like I love a song that sounds like other songs. I love like words that refer to other artists or songs. I think it's like a cool way as an artist to in real time like claim your lineage and historicize your music.
No, it's really. I mean, you even have a whole chord of the song in there. I think
Right.
just really quick. It was just. I was like, wow. I haven't seen. Well, a lot of young artists your age actually do something like that. So it speaks a lot to your musicality.
Thanks.
Who are you dying to work with, actually? So you've done a few collaborations before, but
Right.
in terms of next level, who would you love to work with?
Right now, like I'd actually just love to work with my friends like Jensen and Joy and Jazz. Like I'd love to do songs with them. Remy Wolf is so incredible. Like I'd love to write for her. I think she's so sick. I'd love to write for Troye Sivan. I think that would be sick. Casey Musgraves would be dream.
You must be loving their duet. Did they just done a duet together?
I love it. Wait, let me look through my phone because it's such a hard question because as someone who like writes for other artists as well, like part of me is just that I'd love to write for other people. Like I don't even need to be featured on the song. Like I just want to write with people. Valley is this incredible band that I've fallen in love with. Arlo Parks, so sick. There's so many good people making music right now that I would just love to work with. But that's I guess my short list right now.
When you're not being a musician, what do you like to do in your spare time?
I like going on hikes. I like hanging out with my mom. We have like such a good time together. That's a vibe. I like tanning my buns in the sun outside. Reading books is like a big thing for me. I work out not because I want to, but I feel like because I have to, and because I'm bored. Right now.
Speaking of working out, I kind of had it in my mind that you're not much of a fan of it. With your song Skinny Boys. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about Skinny Boys.
Yeah, I wrote that song with my friend Adam Sample and this guy Barry Cohen, and we had just like a session, and I was in LA on a writing trip. At the time I was living in Nashville, so I was flying back and forth between LA and Nashville, but I was kind of just like spending a lot of time on my Instagram discovery page at the time, like scrolling through and being like, why are there so many hot men on my Instagram discovery? Like, it's so weird that the only thing that this algorithm wants to show me are these hot guys, and these hot guys, typically attractive, whatever, men make me feel bad because I don't look like that right now. I'm a skinny boy. It's hard for me to put on weight. Like, working out is boring. And I think I also was listening to a lot of Lizzo at the time and thinking about
that would do it. Yeah.
Yeah, thinking about body positivity and different types of bodies. And I was like, okay, well, like, I'm gonna celebrate my body. Like, I think obviously like the way that society puts women's bodies under a lens is way different than they put men's bodies under a lens. But I think men are sold like a certain type of perfect male body, which is, like a Thor, I think is the sort of male perfect body. And I just wanted to write a song that was like, I don't have that, and that's okay.
I love that song. It's such an anthem. You see a lot of kids actually, making TikToks with it and Instagram posts singing in the background. When you see those things, how does it make you feel? Them jamming out to your song?
It makes me feel really good. Like, it's cool to see people engage with your art in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, stuff like that really, as an artist, keeps me going, especially sort of at the level that I'm trying to get to and the level that I'm playing at. It's like always good. It's always good to be reminded by people who listen to your music that they listen to your music.
So how much of a Pisces are you? Let's switch it to astrology, because there's a few references in your music to being a Pisces.
Totally. I think I'm pretty Pisces. I'm not sure. I know I'd say like Jordy is also Pisces, and Jordy is like hardcore Pisces, and I'm not that Pisces. I'm pretty sensitive. I think I dream a lot. I think I'm just a little bit clairvoyant, which sounds fucking nuts, but I'll say it. And I think that makes me a Pisces, but I think I'm pretty like a logical, rational person. I kind of operate more from a rational perspective, and I think Pisces is a bit more emotionally driven, and I'm kind of like, okay, a bit more type A than I think a typical Pisces might be.
We'll have to do a chart reading at some point. Deconstruct everything.
Wait, let me look at my co-star, and I will tell you. I think my rising is a Virgo, and my moon is a Capricorn.
Interesting.
Wait, no. Hold on. Where's co-star on my phone? Whatever. Anyway, I think that is my chart.
Yeah, we'll totally deconstruct that later. Well, that's about all the questions I had for you, Myylo. It's been great getting to know your music this past year. For me, you're one of our top artists to look out for. So we are excited to run Myylo Week on EQ Music coming up. So stay tuned for that. We've got some Myylo surprises in the works for you. Yeah, and obviously getting out on the road and doing some shows is what we really want to see. So in closing, what can we expect from your live show?
Oh damn!
From a Myylo show experience.
Hot damn! You can expect a lot of a lot of banter. You can expect a lot of intimate details about my life. You can expect some acoustic guitar moments, and you can expect to have a really, really rip-roaring good time.
Good stuff. All right. Thank you, sir. And any parting words for EQ Music readers?
Thank you guys for listening to the interview, and I hope you go and stream my music, and I appreciate your support.